Medical assistance in dying, M.A.I.D, refers to a person seeking and obtaining medical assistance to end their life. This can be done in two ways: voluntary euthanasia and a physician-assisted suicide. M.A.I.D is available to anyone mentally competent in order to not discriminate against anyone eligible. Some argue that M.A.I.D relieves patients from unbearable physical or mental pain, making it ethical. However, I disagree with M.A.I.D and feel it's unethical and should not be legal to administer. M.A.I.D is dangerous. Some ways include potential medical complications, impacts on the quality of care by doctors, as well as lack of regulation. Pro-assisted suicide attorney Cynthia Barrett described one botch-assisted suicide. She said the man was at home and there was no doctor there. She explained that he took the prescribed lethal dose and began to have serious physical symptoms that were hard for his wife to handle. His wife called 911 and he was taken to a local hospital and revived, then taken to a local nursing facility. The attorney stated he died shortly some period of time after that. This is a valuable lesson that M.A.I.D can have horrible medical complications, possibly making it not as peaceful as patients and loved ones anticipate it to be. M.A.I.D impacts the quality of care by doctors. For example, another real-life incident was shared by Catherine Judson. She wrote of bringing her seriously ill husband to the doctor, and when she got there, she was relieved that they were going to get the badly needed help, or so she thought. She wrote, "To my surprise and horror, during the exam, I overheard the doctor giving my husband a sales pitch for assisted suicide. He said, 'Think of what it will spare your wife. We need to think of her.'" Can you imagine the doctor selling death like the Grim Reaper to your loved one? And can you imagine if they went through with it? Can you imagine the guilt and pressure the patient would feel if they chose they wanted to live? Essentially, instead of the doctor working hard to preserve the man's life, the doctor was suggesting or even encouraging M.A.I.D as a simpler option. It seems like the doctor is looking for an easier solution than the traditional medical work that would be needed to preserve life. M.A.I.D has a severe lack of regulation. For example, Wendy Melcher died in August 2005 after two nurses gave her overdoses of morphine and phenobarbital. They claimed Melcher had requested assisted death, but they administered the drugs without her doctor's knowledge in clear violation of the law. No criminal charges were filed against the two nurses, proving the lack of regulation and enforced criminal justice. If there is no accountability on regulations made, this opens up doors for much foul play to be involved, as there is no clear line to stop foul play. It's like saying it's illegal to rob a bank, but if you do, you won't be held accountable. There is no regulation that enforces reports of matters of M.A.I.D, meaning it's hard to truly know if the patients had made the request or if it was a homicide cover-up. In conclusion, it's necessary to understand the ethical truth behind medical assistance in death. The legalization of M.A.I.D has been wrapped up to look like an ethical gift given by the government to patients in need. But the reality is black and white based on true fact. M.A.I.D can have serious complications involved, impacts the quality of care by doctors, and has lack of regulation of protocols. M.A.I.D should not be legal and has thrown the very purpose of preserving lives through healthcare out the window.